What is up, you gorgeous, fabulous creatures, and welcome to another episode of the Losing It podcast. You're here with Kylie Pax, your emotional eating coach, and I am thrilled and delighted to be here with you for another fresh ep. So, my darlings, today I'm sharing with you three, or I might have more, but we'll see how we go. I'm sharing at least three of the most powerful mindset shifts you can make to keep going when you lose motivation. Because please, we all know what it's like. Have you ever felt lost? Like you've lost all motivation. You were so gung-ho with your weight loss, and then you start and it's fabulous. But then of course life happens and the dog throws up on the carpet and something goes wrong at the kid's school or anything. And suddenly you do not care. Weight loss and following your plan is the last thing on your mind. Sis, I don't even need to tell you. This happens to everybody. Please, I'm the queen of stopping and starting fresh ass programs. So even the most successful people, it happens to everybody. The difference is the girls that lose the weight and keep it off, they're the ones that didn't let these little hiccups stop them. They didn't rely on motivation. They relied on strategies. So I'm sharing three of my favorites with you today so that you can pick one, or maybe you'll swipe all three. But I promise you, they're going to help you get to where you want to go. So we're starting today with my fave. I mean, this one, I would marry it if it was legally possible. This is the future you hack. And you can't beat this one. I probably should save it to the end, but it's just so good. I don't gatekeep anything around here. I'm just giving it to you straight up. The future you hack will save your bouquet every single time. Now, darling, you know your identity shapes your behavior. And it could very easily be a case of the chicken and the egg. Like, does your identity shape your behavior, or does your behavior shape your identity? I strongly suspect it's a little from column A and a little from column B. But what I can promise you is that if you see yourself as someone constantly struggling with food, then your brain will make sure you continue to make decisions that prove you right. Nobody wants to be wrong, ever. Please. Nobody walks away from an argument where they were clearly proven wrong feeling great. So you are going to make sure that you are right in your own brain every single day. So one of the things that I do, and I share this in my free course, I share this with all the girls inside of the blueprint. We focus really heavily on eating code number 5, which is to act like the person you want to become. And one of the ways we do that is by asking ourselves, what would your XXL best version of you do? What would your future you, the future version of you doing? You know, there's that very popular saying that nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. You got to do it yourself. No, there is fucking someone coming to save you. You know who's coming to save you? The version of you who has had it up to here with your stupid ass shit excuses. She will swoop in and save you, but you got to build her first. So the biggest change that you can make here in your life and with your weight loss journey, giving up emotional eating, binge eating, the biggest change you can make is to start seeing yourself differently. Every human being on the planet, their biggest driver is to get up every single day and pretty much do the same things they did the day before. And we have to do that because it's innately in us to remain consistent with how we see ourselves. You're not going to, I always say, you know what I'm going to say. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. Nobody's going to get up tomorrow and start acting like Beyonce because you don't think that you're her. So you're not going to do the things that she would do, but you do think you're you, who is a woman that is sometimes kind of in, sometimes out, makes excuses, binge eats 5 nights a week. You know, she's on a diet, then she's off. You will always remain consistent with that. And that explains why changing feels so damn hard. It's because you are going against every fiber of your being on how you see yourself currently. The beautiful part is, like, your subconscious thoughts are constantly reinforcing your own self-concept, the way you see yourself, regardless of whether it benefits you or not. So today, what we're really going to be focusing on is changing that narrative, because despite what you might currently think about yourself and your situation with your weight, you really don't have a problem with food. What you have is a problem with how you see yourself. And once we upgrade that, the food and your weight is no longer an issue. So your number one goal is going to be changing how you see yourself. Now, if you don't have your copy yet of my bombshell planner and journal, they are included inside of the blueprint. So again, if you haven't got that, just hit the link in the show notes and you can join us inside of there. But there is a dialed down version in my free course, which you can also grab. And that will help you to start mapping this person out. You've got to really know and understand, what time does she get up? What time does she go to bed? What food choices does she eat? Does she make bullshit excuses constantly? Is she like keeping her word to everybody but herself? Is she treating other people better than she treats herself? You need to know all of this shit, because however and let's just be really clear. We could just make this super easy. For any of my Seinfeld fans, if you ever watched with the day when George Costanza did opposite day, and all the decisions that he would normally make, which were keeping him in such a shitty life circumstances, he just did the opposite of them. And suddenly he was losing weight and getting the girls and making money, and amazing opportunities were befalling him because he did the opposite of the shit he would normally do. Well, that's pretty much what we want to do. If you know that your current choices and your current situation and the way that you are currently carrying out your life and behaving are keeping you stuck in this cycle of shame and regret, then why don't we just do the fucking opposite of that? It's not rocket science. You don't need a diet or some clinician to tell you that this is how it rolls. So what you want to do is understand that most people wait to feel motivated before they act, but no, you got to flip it and understand it's not. Feelings don't create motivation. Action creates motivation. So you need to flip it. You need to act like the woman who has already reached her goal. If you were already 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos lighter, what choices would you be making then? Would you be having the golden arches for breakfast, or would you be making some homemade granola or some shit at home? Would you be having high protein or low protein? What works for that version of you, not who you are now, not you now who wants the pancake stack for breakfast. I'm talking about the badass version of you. She may still have a pancake stack for breakfast, but it's probably protein pancakes with some egg whites, and I don't know. I don't really know because that's not my vibe. But what would she be eating? So start to really tune into that. Inside of the blueprint, we have a library of visualization and meditation exercises that help you get in touch with that version of you. But you can do like a more basic version. Just get some music off of YouTube, something that resonates with you, something not wild and crazy, some kind of meditation music, and lie down at the end of the day when you're no longer stressed and it's time to have your own, a minute for yourself, and ask yourself, what would it look like if you woke up tomorrow and you were in your ideal body? What would you feel? What choices would you make to ensure that that remained constant in your life? How would you be feeling in your mind, your emotions, physically? How does she eat? How does she move? What does she do? That is the person you need to get in touch with, because I'm just going to say it again for the people who missed it the first time. Motivation follows identity. It is not the other way around. The second rule that it's not really rules, but the second tip that I'm going to give you today, and I really like this one, is what I would call the one more meal rule. So instead of aiming for perfection, which is what fucks us over every single time because we feel like we did so good for a certain time of the day, and then we go ahead and eat one cookie crumb or, one M&M, and we feel like we've messed everything up. So instead of aiming for perfection, why don't you just commit to one more meal that aligns with the plan that you had set out for that day? So if you know my eating codes, you've got my free course, you've got the 5 eating codes. Eating code number 2 is to follow your plan and not your mood. So that means every morning we make a very quick plan. You can either do it using the actual bombshell blueprint and journal that we have inside of the membership, or you can just grab a sticky note and write it down. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. What do you commit to eating for that day? The reason we do that is because it removes the element of decision fatigue. When you come home super late at night or after a full day at work and you're fucking exhausted, the last thing you want to do is try and decide what healthy meal you're going to eat that night so you can stay on plan with your weight loss. Like, that just isn't even going to be a thing. Decision fatigue is so rife, I will just say, by that point, that it's like, I can't deal, just get Uber Eats. And that's fine. Of course, it makes perfect sense. But what if you just commit to, rather than trying to get everything perfect, just one more meal that's in line with what you said you were going to do? So I can tell you, for me, there's been 1,001 times where I would eat just something small throughout the day. Maybe I'd kicked it off strong, everything was vibing, and then I'd eat one small thing, a cookie. Somebody would bring over some brownies. They'd give me some, chips. I'd be like, I made this for you, Kylie. You've got to try them. Phil does this to me all the time. Babe, I made this for you. Try it. And his classic line that even the kids and I recite and laugh is, he goes, it's good for you. It doesn't matter what it is. It's ice cream. It doesn't matter if it's ice cream or a protein smoothie. He will try and shove it down your throat, be like, it's good for you. I'm like, babe, pizza is not good. I don't want it. I'm not hungry. But what would happen is I would have a bite, then feel like I've ruined everything, so I might as well binge. That doesn't need to be the story. What you can do is just understand that 2 or 3 meals of the day that I don't know how many meals you have. Let's say you get 2 of them, really great and feeling so good about it. 1 meal at the end of the day doesn't need to knock you off your perch. It just doesn't need to be like that. You just need to make the next meal a win and then focus on 1 more after that and 1 more after that. The final secret that I want to give you today is one that I've only started using myself recently, but damn, it's good. And I call this the secret agreement with your brain. Now, I know this sounds like top secret squirrel stuff, but I promise you, this is so cool. So every time that my brain will start to kick in with, you should just quit. You already had a taste of that ice cream earlier and you didn't plan for that today. You weren't going to eat it. You really messed everything up anyway. You should just quit now, binge tonight, and you can start again tomorrow. I tell myself, okay, no, that's no problem. Well, I'll quit tomorrow. But for tonight, I'm just going to stick with what I'd planned. I cannot tell you how many times this has saved my ass. Your brain quietens down because it knows that quitting is still on the table, but you've fooled it because sometimes it's such a dumbass and you're telling it, oh yeah, I'll quit tomorrow. I'm just going to finish off today in the way I planned. So what I would do is challenge you to use this trick the next time that you want to give up, because most of the time, I'm not even saying most, all of the time, 100% of the time in my experience, the next day I wake up and I'm like so glad, so beyond glad that I didn't give up when I wanted to the night before. And the key sort of message or takeaway from that is that, of course, the desire to quit is temporary. Don't make it permanent. That is totally in your control. You know that I've said before, all feelings and all emotions only last 90 seconds in your body. You think a thought, your brain will release certain chemicals into your body, dopamine, adrenaline, whatever it releases, based on the thoughts that you're thinking. And then you feel a feeling. That's how it rolls. But in 90 seconds, those feelings dissipate out of your bloodstream and it's over, unless you keep the thought going by ruminating on it. So every time that thought pops back up into your brain, you've already messed it up today. You should totally just binge tonight and then just start again tomorrow. You tell it, no, it's okay. We'll quit tomorrow, but I'll just keep going tonight. Trick yourself. Make a secret agreement with your brain. Tell it that it's fine. Yeah, we can quit. We'll just quit tomorrow. And I promise you, if any of you have woken up the next day, if you try this and you wake up the next day still wanting to quit after sticking to your word the day before, come message me over on Insta. Tell me how this works for you, because I promise you, this one is a game changer. So honeys, I am sending you tremendous amounts of love. As always, you know how we roll. If you want more motivation. But here's what I will say. Motivation isn't something you need to wait for. It's something you create through the actions that you take and the choices that you make. So I'm going to tell you, pick one of these strategies today and apply it to your life. The next time your brain is just kicking and shouting and telling you that you should just binge or emotionally eat and you can deal with the fallout tomorrow, pick one of these strategies that I've shared with you today, and then come and find me over on Insta. I'm at Kylie_Pax, and tell me how it worked. I cannot wait to hear from you. As always, if you want this, or if you want me all up in your grill on the daily, you know where to find me. Head on over to kyliepax.com/blueprint, or just hit the link in the show notes and you can join us and make this year your year. You don't have to be perfect, babe. You just got to keep going. I am sending you tremendous amounts of love. I will see you again next week. Until then, gorgeous ones, bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to shimmy your butt over to KyliePax.com and join me inside of the Bombshell Blueprint so you can stop emotional eating and start losing your weight now. You'll also find helpful notes and resources inside my past podcasts that will help you lose your weight without losing your sanity. I will see you next week.